Or is this mint? No, that's definitely not mint. Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. I'm Elizabeth, and today we will be repotting the vegetables and herbs that I grew from seed in a video a bit ago. I am going to be repotting most of them and also revealing the surprise pot, at least where it is right now. But the first of two of these types of pots that we'll be doing is going to be the herb one. But first I want to talk to you about these pots. So I have decided with my herbs and vegetables, which require a lot of water, that I'm going to test out self-watering. Now I already set up this pot with the exception of water. As you can see right here, this is where the thingy, I guess we'll call it a floater. The floater is in here, and so that will pop up right here when there is water in the basin. And then I will be putting plants in here. I have seen some of these pots where they put stones in the space, I believe it's down in the basin. I'm not going to do that because the directions for this pot don't say to. If I start noticing an issue, then I'll make a change, but I'm going to do it as the pot directions say. So like I said, I've got two of these. One is going to be for herbs and one's going to be for what I believe is tomatoes and peppers. And then I will be repotting the onions into pots kind of like this one and revealing the surprise pot, which will be remaining the same for the time being. Now this will not be everything. I've got another one of these coming in the mail. It's a little bit delayed, but I am going away for the weekend, so I want to make sure most of these guys are in a self-watering pot. So we're just gonna cross our fingers for the ones that aren't going to fit in the pot. But with that being said, we're just gonna get started. These pots came with cocoa coir. So I made up the cocoa coir, but I'm not going to be using all cocoa coir, especially since it is self-watering. And I do not want to overwater. So I'm not 100% sure what all of these things that I will be potting in are. I know that this one is basil. I want to say that this one is rosemary based on the smell, but I don't remember what rosemary smells like. This one is going to be either parsley or cilantro, but it doesn't have a very bright scent yet. I cannot for the life of me remember what this one is. I'll just have to go look at the seeds. And then these two are tangled pretty badly. But one of them, see, I'm not sure. They smell very specific, but I can't put my finger on it. So we've got these two. We'll be potting them next to each other since they're already tangled. And I've got sage right here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's sage. And then, again, either parsley or cilantro. I'm not familiar with the difference, and they smell the same to me, at least right now. Now, I have mint somewhere, and I wanted mint to be in here, but I can't find it, so my mint vanished. Or is this mint? No, that's definitely not mint. The rest will go in the third pot when it shows up. I will be putting that clip in this video. I'm just not doing it today. So what I've got in here is a mixture of a little bit of cocoa coir, the Miracle Grow. There is some, not pumice. Yeah, no, I used pumice in this. And some charcoal, and let me just mix it up. I also have more soil in this basin right here. That is my normal potting mix that I, like the one that I made on the live, which has bark in it, which I don't want to use bark in here, but if I have to use bark, I'll use bark, whatever. It's not the end of the world since these are no longer seeds, but essentially what I'm going to do is take the basin out of the pot because I don't want dirt in the basin, but I'm going to fill the bottom. Maybe you can see it better this way. Yeah, I'm going to fill the bottom with soil and then get planting. One thing that I am a little bit worried about with these guys is overwatering, but I think that we will be okay because I can always let the, empty the basin or let the basin run dry. All right, so I've got soil in there. I know you can't see it the greatest. It was really, I don't have a good camera to make this setup nice. So I've done my best. We're going to start with this one. Is this one maybe lemon balm? It smells sweet. A lot of these are growing out of their little pots, which is why I have decided to repot them. Not all of them are. The ones that are going in the third pot are not really super big, which is why these ones are the ones I chose to go in first. So this one doesn't have a super robust root system, but it is pretty sturdy. And I am not breaking apart the dirt at the roots. I'm just setting them in. I'll fill in the cracks. I don't want to mess with the roots. They'll grow out when they need to. It smells so good. Let me know in the comments below if you grow any herbs or vegetables and what is your favorite herb. Basil and mint are probably my favorite, but I also love rosemary, so I don't know. Now I actually have a pretty significant size space right here in the pot, so I'm actually going to go see if I can't find my mint, because I think it should go in here if I have it. So I couldn't find my mint, but after looking at the pictures on all of my seed boxes, I'm thinking that this one right here, this bushy one, is dill. However, I had one seed casualty and I thought it was the dill. But now I'm wondering if it was the mint. So I've got my mint seeds right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them in the dirt when I finish filling in the cracks. And then I found this one, which I believe is savory, to also put in the space. Yeah, they should all fit. I know mint just kind of will fill the basin, so I want to make sure everything else has space. Now, this one's not super big, but I think he'll be okay. He's got a decent root system. Now I'm just going to fill in the crevices. Alright, so now that I've filled the dirt spaces, there's actually quite a few spots I could put more something, like right here and right here. I'm going to put the mint right here because it's a bigger space. And then I only have a couple seeds, so I'm really hoping that this works. I guess I could always buy more, but mint is the only one my boyfriend was excited for, so we've got to have mint. Alright, so I've put them in here. I'm actually going to peruse my plants to see if there's a small one that would fit here that is also an herb. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I found this one. It smells, I want to say kind of like parsley. So if that's the case, I might have 2 parsleys in here. But I'm going to put it in this space. So this is the first herb box. I'm going to put it in this basin and insert a clip right now for you to watch of what it looks like up close. Awesome, so I'm going to fill the basin through the vent right here and stick this in my greenhouse. Just wanted to remind everybody that I will be revealing that surprise seed experiment at the end of this video, so stay tuned. But the next box we are doing has what I believe to be a bunch of peppers and tomatoes. If you ask me, the plants all look the same. There might even be a green bean in here. I don't know. But that's what's going to go in this pot, so I'm just going to do the same thing. Awesome. So this is a chunkier soil, so I put it at the bottom, and I will be putting the cocoa coir mix at the top when I fill in the cracks. And if you, by all means, you can tell what these are, let me know in the comments down below. One thing I want to show you that's cool about this one is it's actually got a variegation. I'm really hoping that you'll be able to see that. My tomato or pepper or whatever has a variegation, and that is so cool. Some of these plants just hold on to moisture so much differently than the others do, which is why I wanted to do a self-watering. I didn't show you the roots of that last one because the soil is just so wet. Now I was bottom watering these guys in a tray. So I would pour water in the tray, and then when it was empty, if they were dry looking still, I would pour more, kind of like that. However, that one was soaking wet. The one before that was dry. This one looks like it's fairly dry as well, and I watered them yesterday morning. I believe if any of these ones are green bean, it's this one because it's already starting to flower. And last time I grew these vegetables, the green beans had like beans on them before anything else was even large. I'm actually finding that I've got more space in this one again. Now I know tomatoes and peppers probably need more space, but I'm not going to give them a ton of space until they tell me they need it. So I'm going to try and see if I can fit another vegetable or two in here. I've got this one, which is leaning over. I'm going to put this one in here. I believe, based on the smell, that it's a tomato. But I don't know if it interests you guys, but it's got like a ton of aerial roots, like it's trying to be a ground plant. And I recognize that at some point I'm going to have to give these guys cages, but I'm not there yet. And we have room for one more. I actually don't have any more, but I do have this itty bitty little thing. I have no idea what it is, but I'm going to put that in there and just see. But I'm going to put that in there because of how teeny it is once I refill. So I ran out of the cocoa coir mix that I had made. What I'm going to do is take some of the chunky stuff and mix it in with cocoa coir because I don't want it to be super duper chunky like I make for my aeroids. Alright, so I have everything planted. I'm going to stick this little guy in there and see what'll happen. And I feel confident in doing that because I'm not going to top water these guys, at least not for a while. I'll top water them every once in a while to kind of give them a rinse through, but I'm at first going to bottom water them. So just like with the last pot, while I put this guy into the basin, I'm going to play a clip of a more close-up of what I've done. So just like I promised, I will now be potting onions up. Onions is the one thing out of these that I've never grown before. I grew up with tomatoes and peppers and herbs and cucumbers and green beans and things like that. But I did not grow up with onions. If we grew onions, they didn't live. I don't remember. But I started them from seeds in here, and they definitely need to be repotted because I know onions grow underground. So I want to separate them a little bit. I am not sure if this is the best way to do it, so you can let me know if it's wrong, but I'm going to put each plant in its own bigger pot, and maybe 1 or 2 per pot for a while, and hope for the best. You can let me know if I need to change that system. And because onions grow under the surface, I do want to make sure that I don't give them a super chunky mix, so it will be quite a bit of cocoa core compared to the chunky aroid mix that I have. Now I've got 3 different types of onions. I don't know which is which, but this first one only has 1 that made it, so. And this is him so far. I'm going to give him the soil he's used to and stick him right there in the center. He isn't starting to grow bulb yet, so repotting him right now might be a mistake. I have no idea. I can smell the onion though. It smells good. Ta-da! Onion number 1. So the next batch of onions has about 6 maybe, so I'm definitely going to need to go get more pots. But these guys are small. I think I'm going to put 2 per pot. There's really not a ton underneath the soil for these guys, so I'm actually going to do 3 per pot, and then when they get larger, I will separate them. Ta-da! Pot number 2. And pot number 3. Got quite the messy desk. So these big boys are the real reason I really want to get to potting. They smell very strongly of onion. I'm not sure what type of onion they are, but I want to pot them up into separate pots. Now for these guys, I'm going to need to go get more pots. But before I do that, I want to show you the root system. Not sure how many pots I'm going to need, so I just grabbed another stack. And I noticed that I had this smaller one, which I wish I would have used on one of those guys, but. Ta-da! A little bit more on top. I will be bottom watering these guys, I don't know if I mentioned it. So I won't have to worry about dislodging soil, but still. Next. I think I'm going to be using these types of pots for the rest. They're long, so I'll have to repot these guys again, but I think it'll be better than using something this large. Ta-da! I have repotted my onions, and right now I will insert a clip of a more close-up of. So what that will mean that I have left for my final self-watering is these three. I have no idea what they are. I believe they might be an herb. That one doesn't have a scent. This one might be dill. And then this is dandelion. However, I'm only getting one dandelion plant, so I think what I will do, since the self-watering things are quite sizable, is I will plant a bunch of dandelion. The reason I plant dandelion is for my bearded dragon. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I might change my mind by the time that one comes in. But with that in mind, I am now going to reveal the experiment pot. So what is the experiment pot? If you haven't watched my seed potting of all of these guys, you need to go watch that first. Essentially what happened was my cat knocked over all of my seeds and they mixed and amalgamated. And so I decided just to have fun, and the seeds that I couldn't identify, I just threw them all into one pot. It was a lot of seeds and I was for sure overcrowding the pot, but I didn't expect most of them to grow to be large plants. I actually expected most of them to be dandelion seeds or wildflowers. But with that being said, a lot of things have grown in the pot and I am going to reveal it. So this is the pot. There's definitely some peppers in here, or tomatoes maybe. Definitely some basil, lots of basil actually, some parsley or cilantro, I can't tell. There was at one point what I thought was a dandelion. I don't see it now. There's a lot of small growth that looks like it is basil or parsley. It smells like basil. This guy is pretty sizable. I want to give you a close-up of the stalk because it is absolutely huge. Yeah, this is the experiment where it is. It's been like 2-3 months, something like that. I will insert right now a clip of a close-up of this guy. It's absolutely ridiculous and quite crazy, and I have no idea what's in here, but I am excited to find out. So it is a couple days later, the second pot came in, and I have officially decided what I'm going to do since I don't have a ton to put in here. But just like last time, I'm going to set this aside and just use the planter that you put the dirt in. I have mixed up more dirt, same as the last pot, except I threw a little bit more of a cactus mixture in there, just a little bit for the sand. Yeah, so let's just get started. What I'm going to do is obviously plant the 3 that I had left. They're a little bit smaller, they won't be taking up a ton of space, and I'm not 100% sure what they are anyways. With the exception of this one, I know that this one is a dandelion. Then what I'm going to do, So I'm also going to pot in this experiment in one side and these three on the other side. I am also going to add a couple more dandelion plants in there as well to kind of fill in the gaps of just kind of wherever there is space. I'm going to add a little bit of dandelion here and there because I think my beardy will enjoy that. But with that being said, I'm just going to start putting soil in here and putting things in it. I've got just a thin layer of dirt on the bottom because this guy is a lot deeper than the other one, so I'm going to put this guy in before I fill up more soil and add the little ones. I kind of imagine that this one is going to be a mess. What I'm doing right now is just trying to make sure the whole root system gets covered in dirt, but the plant itself does not. So it's a little bit tedious considering there's a whole bunch of different types of plants in here, but that's what I am doing while you see me in fast forward, just kind of messing down here. Alright, I've got a nice amount of dirt in here. I'm going to show you kind of where this guy is right now, and there still is a little bit of dirt to be had and a little bit of support to be had over here, but not there yet. So this is kind of how it looks. Everything is a little bit droopy. It was in need of a watering, which is probably also why. But also everything is very tall and has, it didn't have a ton of space to support itself, if you will, considering where I had it. So that will change with this new system. And we are going to put these little guys in here now. Before I fill in the dirt around these plants, this is kind of where it is. I'm going to add some sunflower seeds right here in all this open space. So these are my seeds. I did add quite a bit of seeds. I don't expect them all to make it, and that is why. All right, so I have it all done up in here with the experiment on this side and what was left of my plants over here, some sunflower seeds in the center. With that, I'm going to insert a clip of me panning over it nice and beautifully in the full setup. And now that you have seen it more up close, I am going to leave it to me from the last couple of clips you've seen to do the outro. So yeah, if you like this type of content, like the seed content, the edibles, garden content like this video, if you want to see more repottings like this video, comment down below which is your favorite herb or vegetable that I have here or that you grow. Let me know if you grow a garden and what tips you have for the onions, because I'm fairly new to onions and need to do more research. Yeah, subscribe if you want to see more planty content. Most of my content is houseplants. However, I will be checking in periodically with these guys so that you can see how they go. See you next time.